Right at the close of the year, a few big headlines around breaches with SolarWinds and FireEye, different but similar and related. And again, the news and the media, a lot of information around, the breach and the impact of that breach. Not a lot of information about how it happened, right? There also was another article of a security advisor that SolarWinds had hired in 2017 who brought a lot of, issues to light and was very stern in saying, hey, we need to get this stuff fixed. The company, the company's livelihood depends on it. We have these not necessarily flaws, but maybe we're not doing the right things, and these security issues need to be addressed. And he brought that to the executives of the company and was, it was not important to them and nothing was done about it. He actually moved on from the company for that reason, decided he was not going to work with them any longer because of these issues. And now here we are, a couple of years later, and they are hugely in the headlines from the impact and the negativity that this has brought, into a lot of other businesses, a lot of other organizations, our own government. And it reminds me again that, for all businesses, big and small, we need to be taking the proactive measures, right? Yes, targeted attacks happen. But it's also like leaving your side door open or the window open in your house and then wondering why someone robs you, right? If this low-hanging fruit, if these issues are found, if the bad guys realize that they can get in, they're going to, right? We're not all just victims. We're not all just, up in arms, susceptible to these things. We can take proactive measures. We can take steps with appropriate budgets, right? We can do the things to prevent these things from happening, right? Technology is never perfect. I'm not going to say 100% of the time without fail, but, I believe and we believe, and we've seen it with our clients, that these things aren't happening because we've done the right things and we're staying on top of it, right? It's never enough to do and then sit and stay. You've got to stay one step ahead, and you've got to be looking at what's happening in the industry and make the changes necessary. And so it's really disheartening that a $940 million publicly traded company decided to not listen to the advice of their own experts, their own internal people saying, hey, I think we need to do better here. And thereby them costing companies and businesses and organizations and our own government, who knows how much was lost in trade secrets, in confidential proprietary data, and how much money, revenue, and well-being is being lost because they were breached, more than likely for something that probably could have been proactively handled, and if not, at least would have been found out if they had the proper monitoring and watchdog stuff in place to find out later on. And instead, this has been going on for years and to hundreds, if not thousands of companies, completely undetected. And it's it will be like most things, just kind of brushed under the rug, right? Nobody's going to have to pay for this. Nobody's going to have to be held responsible. And I just believe it's super unfortunate because I believe, again, not 100%, but I believe a lot of this stuff is proactively preventable.